Here I am again, making a vlog about a book I sold for $100. However, this time, the circumstances are a bit different. This is a much older book from 1969. It is a biography, specifically about an actress and writer by the name of Salka Viertel. I'm sure I'm not saying it correctly, but that's, I think, how you say her name. And she was an actress and a writer from back in the 1920s. So this was a biography about her life, and it falls under nonfiction, biography, actress, and also during a certain era of Hollywood. So it is drilled down once again. It's not general nonfiction, but it's not acting in general or that sort of thing. It's a specific person, specific time. I don't usually sell that many biographies. I find that a lot of biographies are sort of saturated. There's just too many copies out there, but there's some, the older ones typically, where there were not that many copies made, or maybe the person wasn't that well known, but yet had a niche or sort of cult following, so that when they do sell, they sell for a little bit more money. This one kind of falls under that category. It seems there's only 29 copies up there currently after my sale, and it doesn't sell that often. Based upon Camel, since November 9th, it has sold 3 copies, including mine. So that's not too often. It's at least a sale probably every few months. My guess is that it's selling maybe 5 or 6 copies a year, but that it steadily sells them. And so if you ever find the book, it's probably worth sending it in, FBA. Another indicator of a book that there's probably not very many copies of is the price. So legitimately, what is the price? This one, the lowest price currently is $100 MF. There's no other FBA offers. So I was the only FBA offer, which was another awesome reason to send this book in. I don't remember if I was the only FBA offer when I initially sourced the book, but chances are I was, or one of maybe 2. If you look at Camel, history of the used sale prices, the lowest it goes is just below $40, but that was way back in November. Most of the time since November, it's been between $80 and $100, and that's the lowest offer. So you know FBA, you can sell a little bit higher. Mine actually sold for less than what any of the other offers are currently going for. I repriced it. I initially listed it at $150, and then I repriced it at some point in the past, probably about 6 or so months ago, down to $100. I'm not sure when I repriced it if I was the lowest price at that point, but when it sold, it appears that I was the lowest price. So for these kind of books, you can go for the home run and try to sell it for $150, $170, something along those lines, but I think that it's a good strategy for these longer tail books that sell for good money is to come down to the lowest price if the lowest price is really high. In this case, the lowest price is $100. So why not sell it for $100? I bought it for $1.50, sold it for $99.95, was paid $81 by Amazon. I sourced this book in January of 2015, so 14 plus months ago. So it sat for about 14 months, incurred storage fees, which let's say 2 pennies, 1 to 2 pennies a month, let's say 2 cents a month, so about 28 cents, almost 30 cents, let's say, plus $1.50, so $1.80 all in, and then it sold. They took out their fees, but for $81, I basically made $80 off of a $1.50 purchase. It's worth it for the ones that actually sell for the good money. Not very many copies, no FBA offers, and the lowest price is $100. So those are all excellent. And there's also a bit of a sales history. It's not selling that often, but enough to where you can make a sale, especially if you drop your price to be the lowest price, even at FBA. Do you want to make that extra 50, 40 bucks, or do you want to sell it and make 80 bucks off of it? It's up to you. Some people want to wait it out, and I understand that. And I used to be of that mindset only. Sometimes I will, but more occasions now with these books, I will sell them a little bit less, but still make an incredible return. Interestingly, looking back at my spreadsheet, I saw that I sourced this book at a thrift store I've only been to that one time back in January of last year. And another interesting thing, the reason why I have not gone back, is this was one of the very few thrift stores where I saw other resellers, actually after I was done and I was about to leave. I was there with my daughter, so, well, actually I did finish scanning. She let me, but I was leaving and these 2 guys showed up. So that was my first exposure to other sellers being at the same location where I was. And after that, I decided not to go back. It's also not that far from where I live, but inconvenient enough to where I figured I just won't bother. I'll find some other locations. At this point, though, based upon this sale and some of the others, I might want to go back at some point, which I probably will. I bought 22 books there for $25. I've sold 10 of the books, and one of them was damaged in the warehouse. It was reimbursed, so 11 books basically. And Amazon has paid me $182 off of that $25 that I spent on those 22 books. And there's still others for sale, but I'll probably check to see if those are worth keeping in stock or sending back to me. We'll see. Two people that showed up were actually in a tandem, right? They were a pair that go, I guess, to locations and they scan together. So they started going at it. They had Bluetooth scanners, some sort of app that I highly doubt was the Amazon app. And they were just quickly just scanning the barcodes. Interestingly, this book did not have a barcode because of 1969. At least I'm pretty sure it didn't. Even if they had got there before I did, chances are, based upon what I saw, that they would not have looked the book up because it was older and probably didn't have a barcode. The other interesting thing was these guys, they did not look happy. They looked like they were in some crappy job, that they didn't want to be doing this. They were reluctant. They'd rather be doing something else. That was an educational moment as well, because I was having fun doing it. I was only 4 months into my FBA business, so I was still learning a ton, and thankfully I sourced that book. Just seeing them and how they worked really fast and not very happy, it just made me realize how important it is that I enjoy this and I enjoy looking at books. They clearly didn't. That's the other thing about going so fast. You're not really looking at the book. You're just scanning the barcode. You're like a machine, and you're just there to make money, and that sucks. So one of the reasons why I'm opposed, I know everyone out there, you got a lot of these guys saying you got to get a Bluetooth scanner, use downloadable database. I understand it's faster, but fast and quick is not always the best for everybody. I understand I can be faster, but just watching someone like that, just like a machine, I don't want to do this business and become like a machine, especially the bigger it grows. Get to the point to where, I've got to get out there, I've got to source, I've got to get quicker, I've got to make more money. Not interested at all. Everyone has their own life and their own reality and everything, but that was one perfect example of why I don't want to be scanning so fast. Just because you scan fast with a Bluetooth scanner and FBA scan or whatever doesn't mean that you have to be like a machine. I understand that, but I'm just saying, I'm just making a point based upon what I saw in front of my face. Those guys were a perfect example of what I do not want to become. So it was a lot of fun finding this other $100 sale. That's $200 sales in the past week or so. Doesn't happen all the time, but it's a lot of fun when it does. Again, I'll say it. This doesn't happen all the time. These kind of sales, unless you're only focusing on them, will happen a lot, or if you have a good source. But again, this is not something that is that common if you're new and you're thinking this happens all the time. It's just exciting when it does, and I like to share it and the experience around it. So I'll probably go back to this place because it was a good thrift store. The prices were not that great. I bought the book for $1.50, so it's not horrible. I mean, it's not $2 or $3, but I used to paying about $1 for hardcover in general. Maybe a little more, just depends. So this was in a bit of a wealthier or more well-off area or neighborhood, which might be why the prices are a little bit higher. It was a pretty big thrift store, and the book section, from what I remember, was pretty sizable as well, and most of their books were in good shape. Just wanted to share it with you, and I hope you get something from this. As always, remember, keep booking!
Subscribe to my channel.